So we're talking about the consciousness of healing, and that part of that consciousness is recognizing that we are all part of it, and yet we are all individualized manifestations of it, and so we don't have to sound the same. You notice with the 5 people that were singing, none of them were singing, although it was a blend of beautiful voices, they all had different places their voices were supposed to be. That's what we are as humankind. We all have a perfect role we're supposed to play as humans on that earth. And I think the one thing to be in harmony, to be in balance, is to realize, to come to from that place of love. Because that place of love is the consciousness that heals. Have you ever walked into a room and just by somebody's presence in the room, there's that big breath of, oh, yeah, this feels good. Or have you ever walked into the room and there is so much angst in the room, you kind of like take a step back? It's like, whoa. I remember there was a practice. I was doing a daily spiritual practice, and she'd send out, a reminder every day, and every day was a different spiritual practice. And one of them was when you found yourself in one of those high energy places where you could just feel the energy and you were thinking, is to take a breath and just stand and to breathe in all that energy that is the divine in the air that surrounds us, and as you breathe out love. And she said, watch. You don't have to say anything to anybody. Watch the energy shift. And I thought, okay. So I was living in Santa Fe, and if you've ever been there, they have a plaza, and every summer on every night of the week, they have free music starting after the 4th of July. And so everybody goes down to the plaza, and it's, the thing I love about Santa Fe is, you find people with kitty backpacks that are in their 90s, and everybody comes and they're absolutely who they want to be, where they want to be. They always are being real when they show up at the plaza to dance and to have fun. And there was this one young man, and I'd seen him a couple of times, very short shorts and kind of a short, tight top, buff, and body devoid of any hair whatsoever. And he would go around and dance with people uninvited. He would just, if 2 people were dancing, he'd just kind of throw himself into the circle. And Santa Fe people are very, very pleasant, and they would just let him do this. And I thought, I'll try this love practice. I'll just breathe in and I'll breathe out love, because I just to let this young man know he was loved. And so I was doing it, and I kept doing it, and I had my eyes closed, and I opened up my eyes, and he was standing right in front of me. And I went, oh, that is a powerful exercise. And to recognize how powerful each one of us is. I had no magic powers. None whatsoever. Any one of you could stand there at any given moment and decide, I'm going to shift the energy in this room. I'm just going to breathe in all of that energy. Because remember, we believe one life God's, and we're all part of it. And it is everywhere, in and through and as everything. And it always has been and always will be. So everybody that has ever breathed this air, their consciousness is in this air with us. So that goes to Jesus, Buddha, whatever, Muhammad. If they walk the face of the earth at any given time, their energy is part of the energy that is still here. And it doesn't matter what land they lived in, because what? The earth is constantly moving, right? And so because it's constantly moving, that energy is part of who we are. And we can breathe that in any time, because that's the essence of the divine. In the air we breathe. And so if you breathe that in and fill yourself up with that energy, and then you blow out anger, you've just wasted your breath, right? And if you breathe that in and consciously think, now wait a second, that energy is good. That energy is love. That energy is compassion. So the next thing I'm going to breathe out is love for everything, everywhere. Now, that doesn't mean we have to agree with everybody, because that would be boring. Kind of. It would be boring. You know, if the divine in its creation of us thought that it wanted us all to just experience earth, all the compassion, all the love, none of the duality, then we probably wouldn't be here. This is a petri dish, in my opinion. We are here to learn and to experience. We have that consciousness within us, and we can ignore it, or we can decide, oh, wait a second, I can use that consciousness. That's mine to use, and we each have it. And it's unlimited. You're never going to use it up. We can waste it. I wasted a good chunk of it from the time I was 13 until I was 50. You know, we can waste it, or we can wake up and go, well, wait a second. And some of you may be thinking, I don't buy into this. I don't believe that. Well, that's okay. And yet, does it stop you from thinking, and what if I just tried? What if, and like I've been hearing a lot lately, there is no try, there's just do. So what if this entire week I decided every time I started to get angsty about anything, a TV program, the news, a car on the freeway, somebody in front of me at the grocery store in a line with 12s that has way too many things in their basket. What if I just, instead of making that about me, because that's what we do, that's why we get angry, right? It's about me. It's not. That person is in a hurry and wants to get home. And they think that they can go through the line, and maybe when they got in line, there wasn't anybody behind them. And then the line all of a sudden gets long. Or maybe the clerk said, oh, go ahead, the store's not that busy, I'll take you. And then the store gets busy, and all of a sudden they're there. But we want to make it like, how dare you? How dare you break that rule? It's not that big of a deal, is it? Yes, if everybody with 20 things in their carts got in that line, then the line serves no purpose. I get that. But it's really not everybody that does it right. And we get wrapped up. We give ourselves away to the person with the groceries, with a grocery cart full of groceries, because that's what happens. In the moment now, we have handed all of our energy over to them because they are walking through our mind with army boots on. And boy, we're just like, oh, if I only had the courage to tell them they don't belong in this line. And some people do, by the way. Not me. I keep it in my head. And that serves no purpose. And so what if instead I just took a deep breath and went, I just bless this person. I bless this person. I know they're going to move through the line with grace and ease. And am I really in that big of a hurry? And if I'm in that big of a hurry, maybe I should go to self-check. Don't do that, by the way. Those things are out to get us. Self-check and I have issues. Every time I go, I have to get one of the attendants to come over and help me. And I am not a stupid person. That machine just knows I'm there, and it dislikes me. And I have learned to laugh about it. Like, my husband and I have a conversation. Should we go to self-check? Do we really want to do that? Sometimes we do, just to humor ourselves. But hear that laughter? That's what we should always do. Find humor in those things that really drive us crazy. And I will say the news. Any channel of the news. Any channel. Either side. You can find some humor in it. And if you can't find humor in it, then practice. This was one of the practices practitioners needed to do, I think, in year 1. Correct, Cynthia? Is watch the news. And watch the news of the channel that you would never, ever watch. Whatever that channel is. Pick that channel, sit down, and watch the news without getting angry. I know. So, and the practice is breathe in that compassion and that love, and breathe out and just say to yourself, isn't this interesting? Don't blow up your TV. Breathe in again that passion, that love, that knowingness that it's all God. Here's the truth of the matter, and this can upset a whole bunch of people, to understand that it's all God. All of it. So let's think about that. All of it. Those relatives that you don't speak to anymore because they don't agree with you politically. All God. Those people you decide you won't want to associate with anymore because you don't like who they've chosen to love. All God. Those people that look different than us because they have different skin color, they have different hair color, they're men, we're women, whatever. All God. So when you really get that it's all God, and that we're all here for a purpose, let's just say every single one of us breathing and living on this planet, we're the chosen people. We have chosen to be here and right now. Every single one of us. And so you can fall into the pattern of, oh, I really dislike that person, and get into the, especially around politics and religion, we get very feisty, don't we? We get very much into, I'm right, they're wrong. And what if we just went, I don't agree with them. I don't agree with them, and it may be scary for some people. And yet, when we go to anger, we give whatever we are not happy with, we give it energy. We are actually fueling the fire and helping it grow. Now think about that. And so instead of fueling the fire, focus on what it is you want in life instead of focusing on what it is that you don't want. You know, I have quoted this quote before, and I always say I'm not quoting it verbatim because I don't have it printed out in front of me. It's Ernest Holmes, and it's in his Sermon by the Sea. And it was the last sermon he gave at Asilomar, which was where we as an organization used to meet. All the churches from all over the country, those that could go, would go to Asilomar, which is in Northern California, for a 2-week Love Fest vacation. And I have been way after Ernest Holmes passed away, but I have been before we quit going there, and it was amazing. It was amazing to be in a container with people that all they wanted to do was love you up and hug you. Now just imagine if the world was like that. We didn't know if we agreed with each other. We didn't know where anybody worked. We didn't know how they voted. We didn't know who they chose to love. What would happen was you'd see them and you'd walk by, good morning, how's it going? Big hug. And we'd start to wonder at the end of the week, boy, if we went back and did this in our individual cities, I wonder what would happen. Well, people would probably start calling like 911. A crazy woman out here, she wants to hug me. Because we are so filled with fear and we've got this protection going on. What if we shifted that? What if we decided maybe not running up and hugging strangers because we don't know what the reaction would be. What if you just stood there on a street corner, at a bus stop, wherever you are, and just started to breathe in love and breathe out that energy to everybody you could see? How do you think that energy would change the world? I think it would change it by leaps and bounds. There is an old Zen proverb that says, as I drink tea, I create peace. And what that means is, how much war do you have going on up here every single day? Because this war up here is energy. And the energy of discontent, even if it's up here, can be released and then it's out there causing discontent for all the people around you and then all the people they touch, we have a lot of power. That's a lot of power to say, oh, I can make a difference. I can make a difference. And I am not perfect at this. I will tell you that. And our practitioners aren't perfect at that. I can tell you that. Our board of trustees isn't perfect. But what we have done, at least with the board of trustees and probably the practitioners after today, is we have given each other permission to say, maybe we shouldn't say that. Maybe we should reword that. Maybe we shouldn't give that energy. Because it's just a comment. And even though it might be a reality, if it's not life affirming, why give it more energy? Why say, well, it's Sunday and it's 80 in Seattle, so, nobody's going to show up at church. Well, you're all here, right? We're not nobody. And so to just honor and bless what has shown up in physical form, instead of focusing on what isn't, focus on what is. That's the grace of the consciousness that heals. Because the consciousness that heals is in every single one of you. Every single one of you has that consciousness. And so then, how do we get it? How do we say, okay, that's how I'm going to start living my days? It's a practice. So the first thing that I will tell you is, when you don't practice, or when you find yourself not behaving in a loving way, please don't beat yourself up about it. That's just more bad energy. Just pretend, remember those buttons from Staples? Reverend Susie did a series of, Reverend Susie did a series of talks. I swore by the end of the series, if she pushed that was easy button one more time, I was going to have a discussion with her. But it's true. Pretend there's a that was easy button in the sky. And anytime you say something that isn't life affirming about yourself or about someone else, say, oops, I'm going to change that thought. And then go, that was easy. That was easy to change that thought. I had a thought this morning that was unkind, and I wrestled with it. And then I went to the person that I had shared my unkind thought with, and I said, here's the truth. And she laughed, and I laughed, and I let it go. Because we all do that sometimes. And to own that we're not perfect, and yet we're powerful. Every single one of us is powerful. And so whether we're saying, God, I love all of you, power, or really? Power. And you're at choice. Here's the thing. It was one of the discussions we had in home group. You're at choice all the time. Even when the choice is something that you would never choose, it's to recognize it's a choice. And so the example I gave to the home groups, and I shared with my personal home group, it was my story. And the other home groups wouldn't know that. I happened to be in a home group. And it was the fact that the first time I got clean and sober, it was mandated by the state of New Jersey. And the mandate was go to treatment for a year or go to jail. So I went to treatment, and I resented it. I resented every single day I was in treatment. I didn't want to be there. And I had this brilliant counselor that would say to me every single day, Gayle, nobody made you come. You're here by choice. And I am absolutely not here by choice. You could have gone to prison. Was that not a choice? No, that wasn't a choice. My mother would kill me if I went to prison. She said, it's still a choice. She said, do you know how many people pack up their family and just go on the lam and run? That's not a choice. I would never. Doesn't matter if you do it. It's to realize all the choices that are on the table. Doesn't matter, because when we don't recognize that, that every day we have multiple choices. When we don't own that, then we believe we live in a limited world. And we don't. Just because we throw out choices automatically because it doesn't fit our lifestyle doesn't mean the choice wasn't on the table. So the consciousness of healing is to recognize the power and the presence of God as you. And then to recognize, because you're human, your life is filled with choices. And so you always get to choose. Am I going to be powerful, or am I going to choose not to be? Am I going to love, or am I going to choose not to? And so what I'm going to have us do is give you 8 steps to consciousness. You're not going to write these down right now. I will give you copies if you so choose. Because what I want you to do is, this is a practice. And so I want you to be in the practice of it. And so the first thing I want you to do is close your eyes. Now I know a lot of you, when I say that, I'll either say if you choose, and you'll choose not to, or you'll just choose not to. Close your eyes, because when you close your eyes, you get out of the external world and you get into the internal. So close your eyes and go into the internal. I want you to connect with your breath. I want you to feel your breath as it goes up through your nose, into your lungs. I want you to feel your cells respond to your breath. And then release it. And I want you to just be with your breath. That relaxed state of all the world is perfect right now, because I'm on the inside and I'm with that divine presence. Now I want you to really feel your body temple. I want you to feel the support of the chair. I want you to feel your feet on the floor. I want you to feel your back as it pushes against the chair if it's doing so. I want you to really feel and honor this temple that has been given to you to house the presence of the divine as you. To just honor, wow, the magnificence of your body. Because as you quit concentrating on your breath, your body is going to know to keep breathing. Your heart knows to keep beating. There are things going on in our body all the time, and it doesn't need us to tell it what to do. So just feel and honor the magnificence of this temple that you've been given. And now I want you to notice and honor, either with your feet or just in your mind, Mother Earth. And I want you to honor Mother Earth because it is part of that, we call it Mother Earth. We call it Father Sky, Mother Earth, all God. And so this is physical form where we get to honor the divine. And to really, as you honor the earth, think about how fast it's spinning right now. And none of us is feeling ill at ease. We just let that happen. The beauty of this planet, whether you have traveled the world or just stayed right here in the state of Washington, the beauty of the planet and the different landscapes it offers us to behold. And to know that each one of those landscapes is done without effort. That the divine just lets the trees grow, lets the animals play. So just honoring Mother Earth and all that she or it gives to us. And now I want you to take that long, easy journey from your head to your heart. That space that is the truth of who we are, that place within us that absolutely knows the truth of who we are. It knows the journey that we've been on and that we're on and that we're going on, and it loves us unconditionally. It's that place that the divine as you is. So it's not just an organ. It's not the organ I'm talking about. It's that space of your heart. It's that chakra, that place of divine connection. And so feel that. And now, stilling your mind, I want you just to repeat to yourself, gently and quietly, I am. I am. I am. That knowingness that comes when you tell yourself the truth. I am. And so now, being fully present to all of that, to your heart, to the truth of the I am, to your breath, to the knowingness that you are here by divine right order, by divine right action. Be it here in this very moment at Genesis, be it here walking this planet at this particular time. That's your calling. To be fully present to the truth of who you are. I am God in form. I am divine presence. I am love personified. I am that power, that glory, that one. To feel that and to know that. And then remembering that always. So remembering when we're not here together, when life starts to get a little wonky, call in that consciousness that heals. Remember the truth of who you are. Yes, you are human, but you are so much more. You are spirit personified in this form to be here. Each one of us called. So answer, I am. And so with that, feel the energy, feel the movement of your feet, stretch your body if you choose, come back into the room, and we'll allow Spirit House to wake us up.